Hello and welcome to Poll Pulse from the maximum city of Mumbai. The question we are asking is, it's maximum city, is it minimum infrastructure? Joining us this morning here in Mumbai, Milind, Deora, sitting MP, and of course Devendra Fadnavis from the BJP, and batting for the AAP and also the Aam Aadmi. We're going to put it that way, Vishal-Dadlani. And the floor is open. The questions are from a lot of Mumbaikars, and generally we see a lot of youngsters today in the group. What I am going to set up this discussion by asking each one of you your vision for the city of Mumbai, how you'd like to see it, and how far it is from your vision of the city of Mumbai.
The biggest problem in the city of Mumbai is that there are multiple agencies running. The real solution for the city of Mumbai going forward is, I think, is if we can empower a mayor to have more powers, to be more accountable to the people of Mumbai, and a person who has a vision, a pan-Mumbai vision, rather than having a pan-constituency vision. But I'm saying if we had a directly elected mayor, an empowered mayor, an accountable mayor, I think that would eventually lead to more devolution of powers, more decentralization of powers. The local bodies would become much more powerful, and eventually you would find important departments like law and order, policing, housing, sanitation, transportation, all coming under one roof, which would make coordination much easier.
See, basically, to some extent I agree with Milind that you need to have empowered institutions. But moreover, when I look at last 10-15 years, I find that there has been total policy paralysis in Mumbai. Cluster development, nothing has been done. Dharavi slums, 15 years we have been hearing that Dharavi redevelopment issue would be there, nothing has been done. So far as infrastructure is concerned, look, when we were into government, we constructed 55 flyovers. We started Worli Bandra Sea Link. Now the second part of Worli Bandra Sea Link, nothing has happened. Coastal Road, nothing has happened. Housing is the biggest problem in Mumbai. And rental housing, we have been hearing it for last 5 years. Nothing has been done. The RAY, Raju Awas Yojana, which is flagship program of central government, not implemented in state government. So there is a total policy paralysis, and moreover, overlapping of the institutions, as rightly said by Milind. Now, when MMRDA is created to develop the Mumbai metropolitan region. But what MMRDA is doing? It is refurbishing Marine Drive. Why do you need MMRDA to refurbish Marine Drive?
Most importantly, I think the most important issue is we have in Mumbai what is called the Chalta Hai attitude, which we are very famous for, which I mean, people are so busy doing their own thing and living their own lives that they don't demand accountability from the state government or the BMC.
She had perhaps the most pertinent question to what you have thrown up and talked about as we start this discussion.
My name is Ayushi, and I have recently come to Mumbai, and I keep hearing that people in Mumbai would prefer to live in Delhi despite of the crime rate, only because Delhi has broad, clean roads and metro. So why has the Maharashtra government failed to do that and provide that sort of facilities to their commuters?
Delhi is unique. For one particular ministry, say the railways, which is the lifeline of the city of Mumbai, to run the railways in Mumbai, and if they want to expand, they want to lay more networks, they have to talk to the collector if it's on collector land. They have to talk to the BMC if it's on BMC land. They have to get other permissions because it relates to other departments. There are just too many agencies running the city of Mumbai. I'm simply saying, let's devolve more powers, which I think all parties agree on. So I think if there's political consensus and political will to begin with, the directly elected mayor concept can become a reality for the city of Mumbai.
We are just showcasing monorail or metro rail after 15 years. The rate of urbanization of Mumbai and the rate of creating infrastructure is total mismatch. That this did not happen in Delhi. It happened in Mumbai, and again, I would like to tell you that Delhi had an advantage that central government invested around 25,000 crores in Delhi. Why not Mumbai? When Mumbai is giving so much of money to the central government, if we say so much of income tax is being collected from Mumbai, so why doesn't Mumbai gets back?
As far as JNNURM goes, which is the central scheme that the government of India launched, which is to give more aid to state governments, today Mumbai is the biggest beneficiary of central assistance in the country. That's something young people should note. I think one very important point that he touched about, and I completely agree with him, is the part of political will. But even before political will, political consensus. And again, with due respect to him, Unfortunately, a lot of their allies, the way they spin that issue around and politicize it is that someone's trying to take Mumbai out of Maharashtra and then they'll go on a rampage and destroy public property. That also creates a major problem because that doesn't allow political consensus to take place.
In Mumbai, we have the magnificent figure of 60% approximately of the population living in slums, of which half, that is 30% of the population of the city, because of the the SRA rule of the 1995 rule, who have no access to water, they have no access to basic amenities. They can buy a television, they can buy a car, but they can't they can't get water or power to their homes. So we have severe issues here that go beyond the decorative, that we need to kind of really look at the people.
I think we've got a few questions. We'll take two and then we'll come back for you to answer them. Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Anish. Mr. Fadnavis, you said that there's policy paralysis, but what I can gather is that there's a large implementation paralysis. And what I don't understand is why can't we strengthen our existing structures? For example, why can't the MLA be accountable to the MP and the corporator to the MLA, similar to how a representative in the US is responsible to his senator, and not just responsible legally but also through a method of consensus wherein an MP can work together with his MLAs in his constituency and that MLA in turn with the corporators. And that brings me back to what Milind said, that political consensus is lacking in Bombay, and don't you think it's high time all political leaders in Bombay realized it?
Right, just stay with that thought. I think there's somebody else behind there.
My name is Shoaib. My basic question is, when you say that you want to devolve some powers and empower some of the things, when you have to build a consensus for the state, it's easier because all the MLAs would be involved. When you have to build a consensus for a city, then it kind of changes the entire game.
We talk of devolution of power, but nobody wants to give his power to the junior one. That is the basic problem. Problem is mindset.
That's exactly right.
MP, for that matter, doesn't want to give power to MLA or the state. I'm a MLA. I don't want to give my power to city. So unless we change this mindset, devolution is easy to talk, but it is very difficult to practice.
As a member of parliament, as a MLA, as a member of the Legislative Assembly, we don't have executive powers to pass an order and say we're going to give budgets to hospitals. We can only raise people's demands in parliament, in assemblies and corporations. Unfortunately, what's also happened in our system is, especially in urban areas, in Mumbai or in Bangalore and Delhi, who is your local corporator and who's your local MLA? They may say, I know who my MP is, but they won't know who their local elected representatives are. And that's also part of the problem, because we are holding the wrong person accountable for the wrong work. And as a result, what happens is, if we continue to hold our MP only responsible for local issues, the MP's performance in parliament isn't being judged as a method of rewarding or punishing them to get re-elected. And that's why parliament gets disrupted. That's why you have parliament paralysis. And the local corporators and MLAs, whose job it is to fix local issues, often go away scot-free.
Aam Aadmi Party, for whatever it's worth, has spoken about a scheme called Swaraj, where, for whatever it's worth, power is in the hands of local people, where local people decide where the budgets go in their areas, which I think is a most fundamental and required change to the structure, where power is, it doesn't flow from the top down. It is in the hands of the people. I think this is one of the main reasons I support their concept, and it's very essential for that very power structure to change.
But Vishal, to correct you, this is something which isn't new also, because decades ago, for example, the government initiated Panchayati Raj reforms, for instance, where you're empowering the panchayat and you're kind of circumventing the state government. You're directly taking funds from the center to the panchayat. So these are ideas which have been implemented many a times in cities, mohalla sabhas, in rural areas.
For example, the whole Jawahar Dam situation, where there's a dam and it's being used. The Jawahar is about 50 kilometers from Mantralaya. People are, I believe, dying of thirst there. There's a dam, there's a huge lake. It's being used to bring water to Vasai and Virar, which is not their location. There's a huge skew in the way the system works, because local people are not given power over governance.
My point wasn't about solving issues, but rather cohesiveness in policy, which is why I absolutely agree with you. So the MLA needs to be aware of his corporators' demands, and therefore the MLAs need to report those demands to their MP, and then national policies can be formed for that region, keeping all the stakeholders in mind, because the corporators technically are in direct contact with the people.
Today, let me tell you, as a member of parliament from Mumbai, when I have sometimes right outside my lane, when there's a garbage problem, and it happens very often, sometimes when there's a water problem, do you know who the first person I call as a member of parliament? My local corporator. And you know which party she's from? She's from the BJP. But I still call her because she's still my corporator. To come back to your point, in the United States, for instance, every congressman and senator, they're only judged on one parameter, their performance in parliament. Today I'm fighting the elections from South Mumbai. Not one constituent has asked me, Milind, what has your performance been in parliament in the last 5 years?
It won't.
How many questions did you ask in parliament? What was your attendance record in parliament?
But
those
that's
are
the
primary issues that should determine a politician's electability and re-electability.
But Milind,
that is
sorry to
because
say, but that is not the way the perception is. You know, the perception
That's
is
something which has to
because
change.
they say, okay, we've elected you into parliament. We want to know what you've done in parliament, but we also want to know what you have done
For us.
For us.
But therefore what happens is, but what I've done in parliament, who have I done that for? That's for you. That's for the people. If I've asked questions in parliament, who have I asked those questions for?
The basic problem is we have not developed institutions. Ultimately, if you look at the role of a corporator or a MLA or a MP, it's not his job to fix up a road. It's a job of a ward officer. The corporator does not have executive powers. Although he has certain funds at his disposal, which a MLA also has, which a MP also has, but it's a meager fund. So basically, when the system works, when you develop the institutions.
I'm sorry, but as a citizen,
Yeah.
and as someone who has had local issues, and as someone who has in fact called his ward officer, okay, until I spoke with a politician in my area, until I spoke with a representative at a higher level whose job it may perhaps not be to oversee that road or to oversee that garbage dump, but nothing got done until I did that.
That's
and
what
I
I'm
have
saying.
that access. Most
I
people
totally
don't.
agree, Vishal. That's what I'm saying. What we have done as a politician, I take a charge on me. What we have done, we have not developed the institutions because otherwise we are not in the center stage. If you
The
directly
devolution
call a
of
ward
power
officer
thing does not
and if
happen.
it does your job, then what happens? You don't even care who Devendra Fadnavis is.
That is the reality.
There are real imperfections in the system. There's no doubt about it. And I'll be the first one, like him, as two sitting representatives, to admit that. But look at what we are also doing as a polity. Today, if you look at some of the candidates fighting a Mumbai election, they are releasing a manifesto. They're saying, this is my manifesto. Now, an individual candidate cannot have a manifesto. We are also to get elected promising things that we can't deliver on. That's the reality of the situation. And as a result, we are interfering in
What
areas.
specific things? It's
Well,
what I would
tomorrow,
like to know.
if I as an MP candidate in this election say, vote for me and I'll fix your potholes, I'm flat out lying to the public. If I'm fighting a corporation election and I say, vote for me and I will make the ward office in my constituency function.
Yeah, but that's a long promise to put on a manifesto.
But
To
people
vote for me
do
and
that. But people are doing that.
You said an MP, it's unfair to say, vote for me and I'll fix your potholes. Is it fair for an MP? I'm just asking for somebody to claim credit.
You're exactly right.
If it is wrong, then why are they doing it?
I'll
If it
answer
is
that.
right, then why is it right?
I'll answer that. Today, for example, I'm going around saying that I lent my voice to make the state government implement a housing regulator in the city of Mumbai. And we're the first state in the country to have a housing regulator which will regulate and protect homeowners and home buyers from errant developers. We're the first state in the country. Now I can demonstrate that with letters, I can demonstrate that with other means. If someone says, I just took credit for something and I haven't done anything about it, of course that's a problem. That's lying and that's deflecting attention from the people.
We have, for example,
have a related question to Mr. Milind Devra. You spoke about how MPs should be judged on the basis of their parliamentary performance, and that is something we should all agree with. But it's also true that MPs receive local area development funds. So can some of these be used for local issues like water, sanitation, toilets, for example? And should they be used? What is your opinion?
I'm very proud to have used a lot of my funds for sanitation and to provide public toilets.
But that's what they're for.
Exactly. But I also use those funds sometimes to provide computer infrastructure and IT infrastructure in very, very poor and backward schools in my constituency. So that is a discretionary fund, which the way you can judge that and the way citizens should judge how an MP, MLA, corporator have utilized their funds is really in terms of what percent of it has been deployed. Because again, in that, the elected representative doesn't have the role in implementing that fund. We only have a recommendatory role. And I think the solution is very simple for the city of Mumbai. But let's at least start from the top. Let's at least make the mayor more accountable and let the mayor be known to the people.
But Milind, it is most difficult to do it in Mumbai because the moment you empower the mayor of Mumbai, the chief minister feels threatened that he is more powerful than me. That is a problem. So let's understand that. Well, so we have to change our mindset. I totally agree. No, so it was disbanded.
Very humbly, my question is, mayor, chief minister, whoever, they have got the power. Why haven't they done something?
They have to.
Yeah, exactly.
My question,
they must.
I think everybody agrees. Do you agree or not?
Yes.
Whoever,
yes.
There is somebody who has the power, right? Why haven't they done something?
Hi, my name's Yokini. My question solely for Milind. Today, you say you've passed the regulatory bill for, the future buildings that are being developed, and you want to take precautions. What about the other 56,000 buildings that are yet there other than Campacola? What is happening for them? What are the plans?
So what we've done with this housing regulator is to ensure that in the state of Maharashtra, there will never be another Campacola. And I think...
What about the people who are already living in these artificial buildings, who are traumatized every morning?
Yeah, so as far as Campacola goes, all I can tell you is that I'm fully with you and I will do...
No, she's saying about the 56,000 other Campacolas waiting to happen.
Well, that's something... No, not waiting to happen. She's saying other buildings which have also got...
which have a similar case. And it is a matter of time where some litigation happens and they will also get...
Well, those are some things which of course the state has to respond to retrospectively. But as she said, the housing regulator in my view is a huge important tool to prevent any Campacola from happening in the state of Maharashtra.
We definitely agree to that. That is the future. What about the past?
Well,
what are we doing for people who have voted for various parties to come there, not seeing the parties come together and fight this?
All parties, to be fair, understand the point that if you have permissible FSI, you are legal. And just under technicality of what the court may say you're illegal and you should be demolished, I think all parties will back you and are backing you on that. So that's something you should rest assured. We are just trying to find a way to do something retrospectively. As you know, the code of conduct is also in place now. No legislation can be passed right now. But this is something that I will at least tell you at a personal level that I will continue to fight for, not just Campacola, but for all the buildings that have permissible FSI.
The idea that corruption is in any way okay, people who live in these buildings will perhaps see it differently now. But until it comes to your doorstep, you don't see it. This is what we need to change right now. The citizens, people have to have a no tolerance policy for, forgive my language, okay, it's that simple.
My question is to you, sir, from the BJP. So you have always taken stance for the demand for small estates, and Shiv Sena is always against, sometimes against Vidarbha. So if you all come to power, what will be the case?
There may be a difference of opinion between BJP and Shiv Sena. There are a number of issues. We are different parties. Our agenda is separate Vidarbha.
But when you form an alliance, you need to have unanimous thoughts. You cannot have different thoughts.
In our polity, there has always been alliance on common minimum programs because we are different parties.
Yes, common minimum program actually, does that actually mean that the major issues that each party has don't get solved because you're only solving the issues that both of you agree on, which is a very slim intersection?
See, ultimately you have to know the ground reality. If we come to power with total majority and if we don't need support of any other party, it would be only BJP agenda.
I'll just take that question also. I think that's the final question. Yes, Rajiv.
A very simple question from all of us concerned citizens is, at the end of it, if we sit to take stock 5 years later, in what way is my Bombay going to be more livable?
I'll say you will get a change for better.
So my only message is, young people watching this in Mumbai, in other parts of the country, should vote for individuals who can bring them solutions, not those who keep highlighting the problems.
Perhaps we move to a larger discussion where you start voting for individuals and throw the party dynamics out of the window altogether. You know, people who will work for your constituency, best person for your constituency. We're going to wind up on that note, this edition of the Poll Pulse. To all our audience, fantastic questions. To all our leaders present here, Devendra Fadnavis, Milind, Deora, Vishal, Dadlani. Thank you very, very much.